G'day, it's Marshall from MM 4x4. Today we're going to go through the installation of Automate in a PB Challenger. Alright, first thing I'll do is just show you what's in the box, what comes with the kit. So first is a comprehensive set of instructions, both installation and for operation of the kit. We have a wiring harness which goes to the ECU connector, a shift assembly harness and LED switch which is installed under the center console. We've got a set of ODB2 cables and the control unit itself with some cable ties as well. Make sure you disconnect the battery, just take the negative terminal off. It's usually the easy one. There's always heaps of stuff on the positive, but taking the negative off is a good idea. So do that and then do that before you cut any of the ECU wires as a precaution. Right, the kit comes with detailed installation instructions, which includes like step-by-step photos. And the first part of the process is we're going to remove the center console here in order to get down under here to put a connector in. If there's a couple of plastic lugs that connect into here on each side, these ones have been taken out, but you take each of those off first, and then we'll be removing the two knobs. Right, the full drive lever we'll just unscrew like that. You pull down, just grab the neck of this, pull it down, and on this side you'll see there are a couple of screws here. We'll just remove those. And then this whole lever, this just comes off like that. Now that might be inside here or on top, doesn't matter. That looks off. Alright, the next step is to remove the center console, and we remove the two 10mm bolts down at the bottom of the center console here. So now we need to remove this part of the console. There are two plastic clips here and here. So you basically lift it up, and those clips have obviously already been undone. And there's usually a cable to the, connector to the 12-volt socket under here. That's that one there. We undo that. Just press in the middle of the connector there, like that, and it will just come out. And we'll just leave this on the side here because there's some other non-standard stuff installed in it. So the next step is we take these two bolts out here, and I'll just get the socket set to do that. Alright, now just the next step is to put the shift lever into the neutral position, so it makes it easier to pull it out. Be very careful of this little plastic bit. That's very easily bumped and can snap off. So you just basically push it down gently into neutral and make sure the handbrake's on. I've taken away the center console just to give myself more access. Now this little knob here I mentioned, that can easily come off and get lost. So what we'll do is put it back in here as a safe place to store it, because that eventually goes back on that spot. But like I said, just be careful of this. It's a fairly fragile piece. So now we remove this whole center console, and it's a matter of just lifting it up. And there's a couple of clips in here. You hear the release, and then we just gently move it backwards and upwards. All right, so put it off. Just watch that knob there over the handbrake. And then that just comes out like that to expose the connector we need to get to, which is down here. So the connector we need to get to is located under this air outlet or ducting, which is right down there with the orange. Just gone around the other side because it's a bit easier to see it. What you're looking at getting to is the connector here. It's the orange on it for the PB Challenger, or it'll be pink for the PC Challenger and the Triton. The Triton process is pretty much the same, except I don't think they have any of this ducting in the way, so it's much easier. Alright, to understand how the connector actually works, this section here is actually located like that, and you have a plug like this that connects into it. Now, it's hard to see this blue end plug, but what you can do is just to practice how it works and understand how it works is you can just use this, and you can see that little tab there. That's what you're trying to get to push down and then release. So that's what we need to do underneath this ducting. Okay, so what you need to do is you can either get a screwdriver, or I think you can see my fingers down in there. I can push down on the connector and then pull it outwards and it will release.
What's that?
That's it, we've got it.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, so there we have the connector there that was released from the connector down in this harness now. I've come around to the other side of the car because the harness actually comes this way, and if I pull the plug through like that, it's easy to get to. So basically what we do now is that factory connector, we put this one onto the end of, and then this end will connect under here to where we unplugged it. And we do that by going in from behind. Okay, so I've got my hand in behind, and you can just see enough there that I can line it up, and we can push it in. And in the back here there's a little plastic lug, which I should better get my fingernail into to remove. I'll show it when I pull it out. So this is the little plastic lug we're getting to. It's easiest to remove. My fingernails couldn't do it, but we just get a screwdriver into it, and that pops out, and then it will unclip. So that's got that clip out. So that's what it looks like. So it's a matter of popping that out, and then it comes out like that. And this will just come down and away. And then there's this screw here with the right screwdriver. And on the other side. And then this whole area just unclips, pull it outwards like that. Clip under here, and it falls downwards. Alright, so I've routed the cable up under here now. You don't need to remove that connector in that pipe there. So now what we're going to do is install the LED switch onto the A pillar up here. And to do that, it's very simple. You just pull the rubber back like this. Right, no tools needed. Grab the switch, and it will clip in just like that. And then you take the wire, just put it up under there, route it down here, and back a bit more and under, and that's it. And then it's a matter of just putting the trim back in. Alright. And that's the LED switch put onto the A pillar. Alright, the next step is to install the harness. Now that load resistor, it comes with screws. There's two places in the book we suggest you can put it. One is you drill 2 holes and mount it to the metal surface here. The alternative is you can undo these bolts and you can wedge it across here. And that's the option we're going to go with today. So there's just 2 10mm bolts here, which we release. Make some space. And then the resistor just mounts in the gap here. Just like that. So this edge here goes under. So the idea is that it's nice and flush mount because that allows the heat from the resistor to go into some metal to help it stay cool. Nip it up. just feeding the rest of the cable harness down the back here, like so, including these wires here, those two there. They go down as well because they're going to connect onto the ECU. Alright, with the resistor installed now, it's a case of now we put this back together so it's out of the way and we can get to the ECU harness. Okay, and don't forget to put all these cables back in before you put this assembly back up. Alright, so I've put that screw back in, just finished putting this screw back in, and now what we've got is good access down in this area, so that will go to the control unit, which will be located up here, and this goes to the wiring of the ECU, which I'll show you in a minute. Alright, I'll just show you where the transmission ECU is in the car. So what we're going to do is solder these two wires on the end of one of them, and it's up here against the firewall here. The connector the wire you want is in here, the one closest to the firewall, but it's easiest if we take all three out so that the whole harness can fall down like this. So there's a tab in the middle, you just push it in and then it pulls down. So next one. And then this is the connector we're after. Push the tab in. That's tight, this one. That's it there. Alright, so I'm not going to go through the whole soldering process, but there's if you look in the instructions, it'll show you which wire in this connector that we need to get to. It makes sense to just cut some of this or unwind some of this insulation back, because you don't want to be cutting the wire so close to the connector that if you make a mistake, you've got no room for error. The other notable point is don't allow this cable to go under like this. Both of them should go above the steering or the steering column. Thank you. Including these wires, and then you tie them up above it. Otherwise, this column here can actually foul with the wires, and you can snap them. So just make sure these wires are tied up nicely up the top. Alright, the soldering is now all done, and you can see the orange wire there. It's cable tied up around the back so that it's out of the way and can't get kicked with your feet and won't get damaged. Just make sure you keep it away from the steering shaft there. Now let's put the OBD2 cables in and the control unit. Now we're going to place the control unit in the transmission tunnel here. It's a nice handy spot so you can get to it later if ever you need to. Alright, the last cables to install are the OBD2 cables. So this goes into the vehicle down here. One end goes to the lockup kit, which is this cable here. So that plugs on there. And the other end goes into the control unit. And this end is available if you've got an ultra gauge or a scan gauge or some ODB2 reader. One of those Bluetooth dongles, you can put that in there. Now the OBD2 port is located up here. Is that connector there? And this just plugs onto it like that. Okay, the last step is to connect the cables into the control unit. The ODB2, the CAN bus cable, can go into either of these two. It doesn't matter which one you use, and the others will only fit into those slots anyway. If ever you disconnect this cable from the control unit, it comes with a link plug. So it's twist tied on the end, just undo that, and then put that plug on the end, and that puts the factory wiring back. But then if you just install connectors into the control unit, 1, 2, and then this one, 3, and then the control unit will tuck away under the transmission tunnel here. Okay, we've got the control unit installed, connected up the battery again, and now's actually a good point just to take for a test drive before we put everything back together, just in case one of those connectors wasn't clicked in properly. So we'll go and do that now. Alright, we'll just follow the road test procedure in the installation booklet. The first step is turn the ignition on, so we'll do that. And then start the engine. And place the transmission in drive. Now, you'll see there that the LED is pulsing. That means it's firstly the control unit's working, and it's also telling you that it's in sort of warm-up mode. It's waiting for the transmission temperature to get up to 40 degrees before the lockup kit will activate. Alright, so the LED is pulsing. Now it says to turn the kit on and off several times, so tap the LED to turn it off. There you go, it's turned off. Tap it again to turn it on. And that tells you the LED switch is working. So the next step is to confirm the gear control is working. So we've got the car in D, and now we'll put it into sport mode. It should go to 1, press the up shift to 2, back to 1, back to D, and that tells you that the harness is connected correctly. So we'll take for a drive now. Alright, it stopped pulsing now, so the transmission's warmed up and we've pulled over. So the first test is to check the drive sport. So I'm going to put the shift lever into the D position, and then as I move to sport position, the light should go off and light comes on in D. So that's how you know if in drive or sport, because in the instrument cluster, if I move it drive to sport, you can see it just says number 1. So you can use the LED to determine if you're in sport. So that's sport mode, and that's drive mode. So when it's on, it means the kit's controlling gear changes. Alright, we'll just check. We'll turn the kit off, and you should see the D come up. Yep. And turn the kit back on, and you should see it go to number 1. That's it. So that's working. Alright, the next thing is a drive test. So we've got the unit turned on. We're in first gear, and I'm now going to put it into sport mode. So the LED's gone off. Now we're going to drive, take it up into second gear.
Should have picked a better place to park.
Right, now you'll hear a little mini gear change. There.
Yeah.
So that's it locking up, and it's still in second gear. And if I slow down again, it'll unlock. It's unlocked, so it's flaring. And then as I accelerate, listen for the change. There. That changing revs is the kit, or the car locking up now. So we're going to third gear. Now you can see that there's no more flare. So I can back off, it stays locked, high power. And now put it back into D. The LED is on, so you know you're in D. And now if I put my foot down, I'll change the second. Third. Back off. Fourth. And that's it. So basically it's now passed its road test. Okay, you would have seen and explained that the LED status is when it's in D, it's on, and I move it to sport, it goes off. The kit can be configured, so instead of doing that, the LED displays the lockup status. However, as I move into it D in sport, you can see there's nothing in instrument cluster. At the moment, the light comes on and off, which helps you know which mode you're in. But if you're happy to just work with the light only being the lockup status instead of if you're in drive or sport position, I'll just show you how to do that now. So just turn the ignition off. Actually, I'll just get you to hold the camera because I need 2 hands for this one.
Yep.
So what you do is you hold down the LED button and push it in and hold it, and then turn the ignition on, and you wait about 5 seconds and then release it, and you see there's flashed 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times or so. One flash, and now it's 2 flashes after that, and now it's changed modes. Now if you want to toggle back to having the light being the drive sport status, you just follow the procedure again, and that'll have a different number of flashes. So we'll start the car now, and we're in drive, and you can see the LED's off, okay, because the torque converter is not locked. Now we'll just take off. So you see the lights on, and we're now locked up. Now as I slow down and just pull over here, you see it's gone off because it's now unlocked. So now your LED is the status of lockup. Alright, well we're back after having done the drive test. Now all we do is just put all the trim back together, and job's done.